Hello, and welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I call it the holy relationship versus the special relationship. If you're not familiar with the teachings of the Course in Miracles, that is a term that is used for that particular teaching, philosophy, whatever you want to call it. Now, just so you know, these videos are not about A Course in Miracles. They're about non-duality. And of course, Course in Miracles, Advaita, or Buddhism, they approach it in their seeming different ways, but they always point to the same thing. However, for some reason I felt, or the inspiration to speak about this topic came through me, and I'm just finding myself sharing it. That's it. So, let's get to the topic of today. I've heard, some suggesting that a holy relationship or a special relationship happens between two people. Like somebody may say, I want to have a holy relationship, meaning that they want a relationship with someone that may be spiritual, think just like they do, there'll be no conflict or something like that. And actually, although that could happen, the term holy relationship and special relationship could not be between two people, because in non-duality they are not two, you see? So there's no such thing as a relationship. For example, let's say you're sleeping, and while you're sleeping you're dreaming. In the dream there appears two characters. In the dream it appears as if there is a relationship between the two characters, but the two characters are actually dreamt by the same source, you see, which is non-dual. So the two characters are not relating between the two of them, because there are no such thing as the characters in the dream. All that there is, which is real, is the mind itself, which is dreaming the dream. So technically speaking, the mind is not having a relationship with itself, because all that there is the mind. The two characters are just distractions that appears as if there are two things, but in reality all that there is the mind that is dreaming the dream. End of story. So consequently there are no such thing as a relationship. So why the Course uses the term relationship or relation, right? And then talk about the holy relationship and the special relationship. Well, when the mind, which is a thought in consciousness, in all that there is, and actually the Course in Miracles uses the word consciousness as the mind itself, as the thought of separation. So I'm going to try to use another term. When a thought appears or seems to appear in all that there is, that thought, which is what we refer to as mind, now is divided. Why? Because a part of that thought believes in the dream of separation, which is referred to as the ego, which projects the dream of separation. But there's a part of that same thought that carries the memory, which is what refers to as the Holy Spirit, the memory that it is a thought that the separation has never occurred and all that there is oneness. Call it God, whatever you want to call it. So anyhow, the relationship happens between the mind and each of the thought systems, meaning that if the mind is identified with the ego's thought system, the one that projects the dream, that believes in separation, it is in a special relationship. It feels special, it feels separate. Remember, feeling special and feeling separate are synonymous. You see? I am special because I am something different from, in this case, wholeness, God, whatever you want to call it. That's a special relationship. When the mind is identified with the Holy Spirit thought system, also known as the right mind, it is in a holy relationship. You see, that's why the word relationship is used. It's not what's happening in the dream. There's no such a thing as a human being having a special relationship or a holy relationship with another human being. This is just a projection. The relationship is happening in the mind. So when the mind is identified with the ego thought system, it is in a special relationship. When the mind is identified with the Holy Spirit thought system, it is in a holy relationship. Now, how that plays out in the world of appearances? Very simple. When the mind is identified with the ego thought system, it believes that the world is real, it feels separate from everything, and now is looking for, whatever the case may be, in this case, a relationship to make it feel whole. Is looking for another person to make it feel whole, make itself feel, one. And the relationship could be between a person and another person, or a person and an object, or a person and a title. It doesn't matter. So when the mind is identified with the ego thought system, it is in a special relationship, and that reflects in the way that the character is relating to the world, you see? Because when there's two people, okay, that they're relating, the space in between, you see, that space, see, is where all the fear is. You see, the fear of losing the person, jealousy, neediness, and all that kind of stuff. Because again, there's a belief in separation. So when the mind is identified with the ego thought system, or the wrong-mindedness, if I think that's what it be called, it is in a special relationship. And it relates to the world from that space. It believes the dream. It reacts to the dream. It desires the dream. See? When the mind is identified with the Holy Spirit thought system, with right-mindedness, it is in a holy relationship. Now, what it means, it implies that when the mind is identified with the Holy Spirit thought system, which is in a holy relationship, it does not believe the dream. You see, it's not attached to the dream. It doesn't pursue the dream. It doesn't react to the dream. It's just simply witnessing the dream. That's the difference. So when I am in a holy relationship, I am aware that I am. When I'm in a special relationship, I think that I am someone, and now I try to find or look in the world for that which somehow is going to complete me. That's the difference. See? So, a special relationship is the mind relating to the ego, reacts to the dream, desires the dream. A holy relationship, the mind identified with truth, it doesn't take the dream seriously, it doesn't believe in the dream, it sees for what it is. And while it's having a holy relationship, within the dream, it can still have the same experiences that anybody would have, but it wouldn't carry the same weight. You see, if it's in a relationship with someone, there's no neediness, there's no attachment, there's a freedom there. It just happens that it's relating to the world of appearances. You see, that's the difference. Doesn't feel the lack, it feels whole, because that's what it's wholeness. But in the world of appearances, it lives the life that it's supposed to live according to the script, according to its destiny, which the destiny eventually is not who you are, but I mean according to whatever, the plan or divine plan, if you want to call it that way. But I kind of step away from all those terms anyway, you see. So when you're in a holy relationship, not you, but when the mind is in a holy relationship, you don't take the specifics of the word seriously. You simply live happily. You are at peace with what is. Yeah, there'll be ups and downs and everything, but none of that will affect your equilibrium, will never affect what you are, because now you simply are. You see, you're a witness of all. When the mind is in a special relationship, you believe the dream, you react to the dream, believe the thoughts and all the things. That's the difference, you see. Now, if you enjoy the way I share my understanding of the teachings of A Course in Miracles, I wrote a book. It's called What Happens When You Let God. Rewritten, very important, because I wrote What Happened When You Let God, and I took it off the market because there were certain things in the book that I felt I didn't feel that they were necessary, and the purity of the non-dualism of the Course at the time was a bit compromised because of ignorance of my understanding of the nature, the non-dual nature of the teaching of the Course. It wasn't off by far, it was very little, but to me that was enough to go, no, I should not I keep that book in the market. So I was inspired, or life inspired the instruments to rewrite it, and that's why I wrote What Happens When You Let God, Rewritten. And if you like that book, and you can also get the second one, which is What Happened After Letting God, which is about 80, I believe so, about 80 something questions, typical questions that most people would ask, and how they're answered according to my understanding and my practice of the teachings of the Course in Miracles, always reminding you that I am not a teacher of the Course. The teacher of the Course is what is referred to as the Holy Spirit, Jesus, or whatever name you prefer, but according to the Course, Jesus or Holy Spirit would be the name that it's used. You can call it internal teacher, it doesn't matter, the name is irrelevant. So if you like them, you can go to my website, nickarandes.com. You can read a bit of them, and they are in every Amazon platform worldwide. Having said that, as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can be extended.